Hi everyone, today we will have a debate as a final assignment. Our debate topic is parents should be punished for their children mistakes. Ifek will start.
Uh, Thank you. Firstly, I want to start with saying children's behavior is influenced by the close environment. And you know that the most close one is family. Therefore, parents should be held partially responsible for their children's mistakes. This argument is supported by psychological and sociological evidence. First of all, psychology shows that individuals are greatly affected by their family's values and behaviors, especially during their early years, like maybe their childhood. And also, according to Albert Bandura's social learning theory, he is a psychologist, by the way. Children learn by observing the people around them, and this starts with their family. The behavior shape in a family is also shapes a child's values, for example, their honesty and their empathy. If a child sees lots of aggressive behavior or other else bad behaviors at home, they may normalize these things and use them in their own lives. This shows to us that parents have a strong influence on their child's life. When parents can guide their children properly, they can help them to develop their child's social abilities. I mean, they can prevent mistakes and bad behaviors. Parents' responsibility is not limited with physical care. It also includes social care, and environmental factors can also influence a child's behavior, like their school or friends or teachers, etc. But if the child learns correctly behaviors in their family, you can prevent from bad effects. In conclusion, when children make mistakes, behind these mistakes is the influence of the parents' values and also education. Parents are the most important point to shaping their children's behavior.
Thank you, Ifek. Is there anyone who wants to say anything about it? Faruk Emre?
First and foremost, I want to state that effects acknowledge the fact that children's behaviors get affected by their environment. But she mostly focuses on the family's effect and undermines the effect of their friend groups, teachers, neighbors, etc. Mostly school environment in her speech. As she mentions, we can say that parents are partially responsible, but I want to shift the focus to environmental changes here for my argument. And I see that to this point, we overlook the environmental effects. Um, Up until a certain age in their lives, to like 5 to 6 years approximately, we can say that most things children do reflect their parents' behaviors. But from that point on, they start to get affected mostly by their teachers and peers. And they also do that faster and more effectively. You can take peer education, for example. Until that point, they most probably got taught good behavior by their parents. So they probably didn't make big irreversible mistakes. And the things they do from that point on are not controlled by their parents, and they reflect the children's own choice. Children's own choice. Um, we can take drug or vape addiction, for example. We can say that almost all parents, even the addicted ones, try to keep their children away from the substances. And people generally get these addictions by someone from their friend group offering it to them, saying things like, you only live once, or it doesn't kill you doing it once, etc. Just to fit in the crowd. They are more likely to make poor choices, mostly due to school, because their parents are not able to control them due to work. Since they started making their own choices, the control mechanisms and behavioral education are not that good, since they mostly care about how a student performs in math, physics, like in academics in general, in school life. These things affect children's behavior more than their parents, and parents actually should not be punished for their children's mistakes. So that's my opinion about this topic. Thanks for the speech.
Thank you, Faruk Emre. Neil, do you want to say something about it?
Yes, parents play a major role in shaping their children's behavior, and saying they cannot control their actions makes the issue too simple. While children are influenced by school, friends, and social environments, the foundation, their values, and sense of right and wrong begins at home. Parents are their children's first role models, and their actions, words, and attitudes have a lasting impact. If parents teach respect, empathy, and responsibility, children are better ready to handle outside pressures. It's true that many parents have busy work schedules, but this doesn't remove their responsibility. Parenting isn't just about being physically present. It's about building trust, setting boundaries, and having meaningful conversations. Even small efforts like checking in regularly and discussing challenges can make a difference. Today's technology also allows parents to stay informed about their children's lives more easily. Blaming peer pressure or school dynamics entirely removes accountability from parents. Research shows that consistent discipline, emotional support, and guidance from parents significantly reduce behavioral problems. A child's mistakes often affect not just themselves but others around them, like classmates or teachers. Ignoring parental responsibility weakens the importance of parenting in society. In conclusion, while external factors do influence children, parents remain key figures in shaping their behavior. Instead of shifting all blame to schools or friends, empowering parents to actively guide and support their children is more balanced and effective approach. Thank you.
Thank you, Nihir, but I don't agree with your idea because of some reasons. First of all, there are several factors which nurture a child's value system, and one of them being parents. But expecting them to take responsibility for every mistake their does not make sense. A child has many influences while growing up apart from parents, such as social interaction, friends, education, and online content. It is impossible for the best parents to control every action of their child. There are times when kids decide things for themselves, and there are no parents to blame for that. Parents are not mistake proof, so guaranteeing perfect children isn't a possibility either. Blaming parents for children mistakes make it complex for parents who are already dealing with many faiths. Rather, slandering parents attempting to resolve the situation for both the parent and child seems a better approach. Parents should not be punished for their children mistakes because children are individuals who make their own choice. Sure, children are trained and raised by parents until the time they start making decisions, and it is directed by external factors which include friends and social media as well. However, this only makes parenting look like a blame game, and families tend to fall apart this way given the disempowered parents with accountability. Children should be take responsibility for their mistakes instead of blame their parents. For example, a child hits a friend at school, and in this case, it would not be right to immediately think this child's family is teaching him violence. Maybe this child could not control his anger at that moment. Maybe he saw a bad example somewhere else or was influenced by a friend. Even if parents teach their children what is right, children also learn a lot of things from their environment. It may be reasonable to warn parents in some situations, but punishing them is ridiculous. Of course, families have a responsibility to educate their children, but it would be unfair to directly attribute the case of every bad behavior of parents. Children's own individual decisions, circle of friends, school environment, and personal experience also affect their behavior. Rather, parents and children should be educated and guided to help resolve the issue. Thank you. Is there anyone say something?
I would like to say something.
Please go.
Parents should be punished for their child's mistakes because they are the main influence on how a child behaves, what values they learn, and the decisions they make. Of course, kids are influenced by other things too, like their friends, school, or social media. But the main idea of what's right and what's wrong at home. It's the parents' job to teach their kids about things like respect, discipline, and responsibility. So if a kid does something serious like bullying, stealing, or damaging property, it usually means there has been a lack of proper guidance or supervision at home. If parents were held responsible, they take parenting more seriously, and this could actually prevent a lot of problems in the future. Some of might say kids their own people and their own choices, so it's unfair to blame parents for everything. But the thing is, kids and teens don't always understand the consequences of what they do. They often act on impulsive and don't think about how their actions might hurt others. That's why parents need to stay involved and they help guide them. If parents aren't held accountable, they might not take this role as seriously, and kids might keep making mistakes without learning anything from them. Also, making parents responsible can actually teach kids an important lesson about accountability. If kids realize their actions can have consequences, not just for themselves, but for their whole family, they will think twice before doing something harmful. It's like a system that makes both parents and kids more aware of their actions. Plus, it could lower the chances of kids getting into trouble since parents would be more careful about keeping an eye on their kids' behavior, who they hang out with, and even what they do online. In short, even though kids are influenced by a lot of different things, parents still have the biggest role shaping how they turn out. If we hold parents accountable, it could help create a more responsible society. Families would work together to avoid problems instead of ignoring them. This way, both parents and kids could learn to take responsibility and make better choices.
Your idea, Nihir. Batu, do you want to say something about it?
Yes, as the opposite side of Nehir Çinik's and the last speaker, yes. First of all, I disagree with Nehir Çinik's ideas because parents should not be punished for their children's mistakes because despite their significant influence, children are independent individuals who can make their own choices. While parents do play an essential role in guiding their children, they cannot control every aspect of their child's behavior, especially as the child grows older and becomes more influenced by external factors like peers, school, or social media. Children, particularly teenagers, are in a stage of development where they are experimenting with their identity and testing boundaries. Holding parents accountable for every mistake a child makes overlooks the child's own responsibility and autonomy. Moreover, punishing parents may not always lead to the intended outcomes. It could place undue pressure on parents, causing them to adopt a more controlling or punitive approach to parenting, which may not necessarily be effective in promoting positive behavior. In fact, such an approach could strain the parent-child relationship, making it more difficult for parents to guide their children through challenges in the future. Additionally, making parents responsible for their children's actions could be unjust in situations where the parents are doing everything they can do to guide and support their child. Some children may still make poor decisions despite having loving, responsible parents who have provided proper education and supervision. Therefore, it would unfair to hold parents accountable for every misstep their children take, especially when they have done their best to raise them well. Lastly, responsibility should be placed on the individual, not the parents. As children mature, they must learn to take accountability for their actions and understand the consequences of their behavior. By shifting the responsibility to parents, we undermine the development of this essential life skill. Children need to learn that their actions have consequences, and this is a lesson that can only be truly absorbed when they face the outcomes of their own decisions, not those of their parents. Thank you.
We have come to the end of our program. Thank you for listening to us.